Hello, everyone. All right, this is Sam Baisla. I am an entrepreneur and investor. I have been working with B2B businesses for a very long time. In fact, we've served over 300 companies, generated over 10,000 B2B leads for them. And previously, when I was building my businesses, we built businesses for the European markets, for the American markets, for India, and of course, for Gulf. Collectively, there is an experience that I carry of over 24 years. And during those 24 years, we built very large sales teams of 3,000 people, 2,000 people at a time. So from the beginning to the end, when there was no internet, kind of, not exactly the way that we have, when there was no social media, when we didn't have artificial intelligence, from those days, selling all kind of products to all kind of customers across the world, seeing the transitions when the social media, internet, and now artificial intelligence, I've seen the trends that the way the buyer behavior has been shifting. And I've been part of it, and now I've been on both sides of it. I've been as an operator, as an entrepreneur, and I've also seen companies doing crazy kind of shit. In today's session, what I'm going to talk about is not the usual discussions that I generally do that, okay, you got to have a funnel, you got to have a content, you got to have the founder leading the business and all that. I'm going to talk about something really, really specific. And this is very, very helpful for every kind of B2B business. So whether you are a service company, a chartered accountant, a lawyer, or a management consulting, or a coach, or a consultant, wherein your target customers are the other businesses, or you are a software company wherein you have softwares that you build for people, you have custom solutions that you do for them, or any kind of thing. Every time when you have businesses as your customers, this session is going to be really, really helpful and very, very impactful for you. Okay, so as I always say that right, this will be recorded and of course it will be available and you can watch it later on, but it is very important that you make notes when you actually watch it. Okay, so I have this diary with you, pencil or a pen, and I'm going to talk about things that you can go out of this discussion, implement exactly. So you can have a checklist of things that you can do immediately in your business, whether this is at a growth stage, early stage, or you want to scale yourself. Okay, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about the way social media and the content has impacted the buying behavior. We're going to talk about automation a lot, and we're going to talk about partnerships, collaborations, everything that are very, very relevant for your business in 2026. Okay, cool. First things first, let me know in the comments what is it that you do and where are you watching me from. Now, this is important for me to understand. Now, one of the things that I always realize that when I do this broadcast and it goes on YouTube and it goes on LinkedIn and it goes on Facebook and in our communities also, the problem is the language, right? For Indian businesses, it's more comfortable that I speak in Hindi, but my majority of the audience is on LinkedIn and they are global from Gulf, Dubai, and everywhere else in the Gulf. And the language that these people generally prefer is English. Okay, so it will be helpful for me if you can comment and tell me what language would you prefer today. And let me see if there are comments coming in because so that I want to be uh, I can respond to the comments right now, right here. Okay. In the meantime, you're telling me where are you watching me from and what exactly is that do you do? And if there are any questions, obviously let that be typing in the comments. I'll be trying to answer all questions as much as possible in the live session. If there are questions left, which I'm not able to answer right now, I'll be happy to answer those questions later on. All right. First things first. The one thing that every B2B business owner that I have seen is completely missing is extremely crucial. And if you do not do that right now, nothing will work. You can do the kind of content that you want to do. You can run all sorts of ads that you want to do. And you can build systems and you can hire a lot of people and you can spend a ton of money. Nothing is going to work if you do not consider this one thing. And it's a fundamental mindset shift that you have to make. And I don't care what business you are doing. It can be a D2C also. It can be an application that you're building. It can be an enterprise solution. It can be a service-led business like a CA or wealth management advisor or a VC firm. It does not matter. It really, really does not matter. Okay. So, and here is that thing. Ask yourself a question and hear me out. Be with me for a while. Okay. Have some patience. Let me ask you a question. How many of you today use any of the artificial intelligence tools? It can be chat GPT, it can be Gemini, it can be Grok, it can be anything else. How many of you use one or the other way any artificial intelligence tool today? And even if you do not use it as a application, when you do a Google search, the first part of the search that Google now presents is basically an AI generated answer. Tell me, let me know in the comments, tell me how many of you use AI in one way or the other today. All right, so that's one question. And bear with me. I'm coming to a very important point, and you will realize and understand the impact of this answer that you have to give to yourself. And why it is important is because everything today depends on this fundamental shift of the mind that everybody has. Okay, so this is one question. The second question is, let's say you fall sick, or anybody falls sick, or any problem that you have with your body, like you feeling a headache or a stomach ache, or not feeling good, or feeling dizzy, or whatever. How many of you, before you actually go to a doctor, pay a visit to a doctor, or call up a doctor, how many of you actually reach out to your phone and type the symptoms that you have on your phone? How many of you actually, for that a simple thing, you go to Google and try an answer for that particular problem that you have, that what are the symptoms that I have, what can be the problem, what can be the causes, and all that. So the AI usage, and for anything using social media to answer your smallest problems, how many of you actually do that? And now let me flip that question a little bit for you. And this is critical, okay? Let me ask it differently. How many of you do not use any social media, Google for that matter, to get your answers, or artificial intelligence in one form or the other? How many of you do not use any of these things? Is there any person who's watching me today, or you think in your mind, that does not use any AI, any tool, or any Google search for any questions that they have, right? Like, of course, there are people who don't do it, but then majority, like 90%, 95% people use one of these tools today. Now, here's the question that I was trying to ask, and here's the question that you should be asking yourself. Do you believe that any person who is your potential customer, and irrespective of what you're selling, do you believe any person who is your potential customer, before they decide to buy your product, they do not use AI or Google search or Perplexity or whatever? Do you believe that those people do not use it? Right? You use it, but you believe that they don't use it. Literally impossible, right? Every person uses that. And this is decision making uh, process. There's one more thing that you should be understanding and asking yourself a question, that how many of people, anyone, think of your potential customers. They can be small, big, large, whatever. And companies also is they are comprising of people. These are the people who run these companies. Your decision makers, that CEO, that CFO, or that HNI, these are human beings. Okay, they have a face and a hand and hair and everything. They eat, they sleep. These are human beings. How many of these people do you believe that they do not use any social media, they do not watch YouTube, they do not watch Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn? How many of do you think do not use any of that? Literally nobody. Okay, then answer a question to yourself, and this is critical. And I've seen people that that we kind of live in a very different kind of world as business owners. So when you try to sell anything to anybody, and you know that these people, everybody form their opinions, shape their opinions, what to trust, what not to trust, and everything based on what they see on internet. And you're not the one who's pushing that information. You're not the one who's giving that information to them. What is filling their mind, or who is filling their mind? Because there is content available. Everybody is getting some or the other in their feed, right? So somebody else is doing that. Somebody else is creating that content, writing that article, creating that reel, or pushing that ad or graphics or whatever, everything, right? So when those people, like 100% of them, when they take the decision, you know that they go to internet and they search and they read and they watch a video, and that face is not yours, and that brand that is serving that information to them is not yours. What do you think that these people start believing, start trusting? Who do you think these people start believing and start trusting? Not you, right? Not you. Now in that situation, when you send a message to somebody, or run an ad or run after somebody, and you say, hey, you know what, I'm a chartered accountant, and I would be doing a great service to you, and you take your accounting or GST or whatever, or I'm this consultant and I'm this wealth management advisor, or I'm this software company, and I'll do great service for you. They already have a lot of information, a face, and an article and a video that they've consumed from somebody else. They already have a bias towards that person. And when you come in, you're a new person, you're a nobody, and the chances of they trusting you, even talking to you, is almost negligible, right? Now this is how decision making is happening today in 2026. This is how people are taking their decisions. And I'm not asking you to become a content creator, but I'm just saying that this is how people are taking their buying decisions. And it does not matter what is it that they're buying. Okay. The people who take corporate decisions inside in the companies also are consuming content online. They also have phone, they also watch YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, they watch the reels, they read the articles, they are bombarded with the information 24/7, and good amount of time, like 4 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, is their mind is filled with that content. And if that face is not yours, and if that brand is not yours, and if that article is not yours, that case study is not yours, you do not have a space in their mind. Okay. And therefore, whenever you try to sell, nothing seems to work out. Now, no amount of salesperson you can bring in, you can have 10 salespeople. The salespeople are not trusted at the moment. The decision making is not based on what salespeople are telling me. So you put like 10 salespeople, 1,500, or you train your salespeople so good, it's not going to change anything. That is fundamental. And that shift has only started, and it's going to continue. And if you're not part of that, if you don't understand that part of your business, you're going to have a very, very difficult time in growing your business. I'm sorry, but this is how the things are. And I've been in a world wherein this was not the case. I've been in a world wherein social media decision making was not there, the content was not there. I mean, and I've seen social media, and I've seen the AI also in last 4 years, 3 years specifically. The uses of Chat GPT and Gemini and every AI tool has so much increased the decision making. And there is one more question that people should not forget, that when I am doing a research, when I try to find out what problem I face in my company and whether I want some solutions or not, I do that research on GPT. I give it prompts here and there. This is the outcome that GPT giving me. And then I ask the same question to your salesperson, and whatever your salesperson is telling me, who do you think I trust more? I trust on my own research, right? I somehow believe that AI is non-biased. Obviously, it is non-biased because it doesn't want to sell me any product. And the result that I'm getting from Google and Perplexity and all those answers are more trustworthy. So even if I give you time and listen to you, I still believe more on the results that I have. So this fundamental shift that I've been seeing, it is impacting every business. And if you are not following up, whether you're an SME, whether you are a service company, whether you are a small company, large company, anybody, this is the fundamental shift that has happened. And if you're not understanding it and incorporating that in your customer acquisition and your overall growth strategy, you are not going to win. Okay, so that's the fundamental thing. And how to do that, there's this roadmap, of course. And we run a free consultation call. I'll be very happy to address your questions if you want to have my team talk to you and understand your problems and your exact solutions that you should be implementing, where you are, what journey, what is the budget that you have, in that budget, what is the goal that you have using your budget, and in the goal, what exactly is the strategy that you should be doing. We'll be happy to have a conversation and take you through on that journey. And there are free templates also that we've created. You can download all of those. Just let me know in the comments. And remember that later on, we will reach back to you. Better that you leave your email or your phone number also so that we can get in touch with you. All right. So I'm going to take a little pause and I'm going to take certain questions here and see if there are questions which I can answer right now. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be resuming just after these questions. All righty. Okay, so here we are on LinkedIn. Here we are on YouTube. All right, YouTube or LinkedIn. How do I see the LinkedIn live thing? Okay. Yeah, here we are. All right, super. Okay, okay. LinkedIn says I'm starting it. Guys, if you're watching me on LinkedIn, can you just tell me if you can see it or not? Right? It seems to be a little miss from my side. Anyway, anyway, let's come back to the next thing that we really need to focus upon. And the second thing is the probably equally important, as I said, the first mind shift that you've got to be understanding that the world, the decision making is happening because of internet, social media, and artificial intelligence combined. And if you're not using that into your strategy, then you're missing. It's going to be extremely difficult. No amount of money, no amount of hard work, or the people that you can work with, they're going to save you. That's that's just the way it is. All right. Uh, okay. What to do? The question is what to do then. Okay. Now, what to do is a very contextual question, and the answer will be different to different people. I can answer it from where I am, or I can answer it from where you are. Okay, and you have different amount of money that you can spend. Your goals can be different. Your target audience can be different, and what kind of content you should be producing, how you should be producing, where you should be sharing that content, whether you should be running ads, whether you should be running ads on Facebook or Google, right? That also a question. Whether you should be using salespeople, webinar, what should be your entire strategy is basically predicated upon or reverse engineered from what is it that you're doing and where are you going. Okay, let me answer some simple questions, but there is this whole framework that you can use, and you can take it and you can make it useful. There are two things that you absolutely can do. One is, of course, is to build your own, network of pushing your existing services that you do. But when you live in a world that I just described, wherein people take decision and they consume content, they do their own research and they trust their own research so that they move near to the decision making. You cannot push. That's fundamentally the difference. So what you have to do is you have to engage with them at the beginning of their problem discovery cycle. Okay. So generally, when you see, if you understand the sales, the decision making happens in a process. It is not a one-day event. Okay. There are steps. Whenever a buyer wants to decide buying something, then they follow a process. Now, when I was doing my MBA, postgraduate diploma in what years was like 2008? Yeah, in 2008, we were taught a very significant thing. I still have that book with me, and whenever I teach sales or marketing or go to market to people, I always start this step, and that step is unfortunately nobody is taught. If you're a business owner, your concern is how do I sell? How do I reach out to the market? Right? But before you answer that question, we were taught, and I still teach that, and you should be understanding, is to first understand the buying process of any prospect. If you can understand the process of buying, what are the first step and second step and third step that a buyer takes, then it will be very easy for you to design your selling process and your selling strategy. You just have to plug, your sales process into the buying process. Okay, and that earlier was not important, of course, because people did not have a lot of power. They didn't have the tools like artificial intelligence. They could not go and search about companies or about their problems. They did not even know what problems they have. They did not even know what solutions are the good solutions and whether you are the right person or not. But now that has completely changed. So you have to understand the buying process first. And what is the buying process? And you can obsess yourself with the buying process, selling is going to be easy. Okay, and here is the process, that buying process you should be understanding. The first and the most important part of buying process is realization of a problem. Okay, I'm a chartered accountant, or I'm a CEO, or I'm a HR head, or whoever I am, and I'm your prospect customer. When do I even realize that I have a problem? Right? And unless I realize I have a problem, there is no way that I'm going to go for a solution. And if I do not realize that I have a problem, whatever solution that you feed to me is not going to be very important for me. I'm going to hear you out, I'm going to listen to you, and then I'm going to say, yeah, but I'm not going to spend money on it. So you have to understand and ask yourself a question, write on a piece of paper, that who's your target audience, who's your decision maker. And if a CEO of a company, think about their problems that they have to solve in their day-to-day life every day. Forget about your solution, and I'm going to come to that how your solution will be integrated into that. But you have to leave your own cabin and on your mind and your own product, and you have to obsess yourself with what problem my target customers face in their life. And they may not be related to what you do, but you have to understand their life first. Okay, so if CEO is a problem, or CEO is a customer, or a IT head is a customer, you write down on a piece of paper. And by the way, you can use ChatGPT also. You can tell ChatGPT that, hey, this is my target audience, this is my decision maker. Tell me what problems they face that are critical and urgent for them in their day-to-day business. You can ask them this question. It's not a big deal. Okay, it can give you a list of those problems. The second thing that you have to do is that which problem your product solves. Okay, and you will realize that when you write down those problems that they face in their life and they solve their goals that they have, their priorities that they have, you have to rank them on a ranking, or a priority order, which are the most important problems that they have in their life and they solve every day, and their goals are. And if you realize that your solution is probably priority number one or two or three, it's not going to work. right? If your solution is not the highest priority of your target customer, or if the problem that you're solving is not the highest priority for your target customers, no amount of sales is going to be good enough for you. Now, there is this whole thing that you got to be understanding that what you do helps them achieve their goals. But that particular problem that you're solving is not their priority. It's a part of the solution that will help them achieve their goals. So once you understand what is the end goal of a CEO or what is the end goal of an HR head, then you start talking in that language. If you start talking in their language, they will listen to you, they will connect with you. And that's a fundamental mismatch that I see many business owners, especially B2B business owners, doing. You talk about your problem or the product, or you talk about your solutions that you're giving. And when I am a CEO, I'm saying, oh, look, I need to raise funds, my friend. I don't care about whether your CA services can improve my productivity or not. And you don't even talk about the productivity. Most of the times, the chartered accountants or service providers are talking about the service. And I will do it because it's legally mandated, uh, and I'll give you the bare minimum money for that. I will not pay you anything extra unless I can see that what you do is going to help me achieve my long-term goal or my important goal. And my long-term goal, important probably is raising funds for my company, increasing productivity or profitability for my company, and all those things. Unless you connect what you do with those north stars, those goals, that is a positioning mismatch that I see a lot of people making. So what kind of content you should be producing? You should be producing the content that talks to your target audience about their problems, not your solutions. And you should be talking to them, and you should be creating the case studies or the research papers or whatever, or articles or videos or whatever about their topmost problems. And that is a shift that I've seen is very difficult for somebody who's been living into their product and their solutions every day. Now, that is the positioning difference. That is the fundamental shift in the way you start talking outside of your business. Okay. I call that the brand value proposition, which is like your overall brand. What does the value it provides to your target customers? And that cannot be, I've solved this problem and this is how I solve this problem. That is not the enough. You have to make that connection between what you do helps them achieve what they want to achieve. That connection is most important. So it's the brand value proposition, it's the alignment of that proposition and that positioning with their goals. And if you start with that, they will be interested, they'll talk to you, and when they start talking to you, they will certainly ask you a question, how do you do that? And when they ask, how do you do that? Then you can pitch in the product or the solution that you have. I hope this is making some sense. All right, let me take some questions here. Just a moment. You're right. Mhm. Okay. Mm. So we've solved this mismanagement and alignment problem for you now. Now, let us talk about the second step that you got to be doing. And once you align yourself with the problem that they have, you got to be having something as an offer or as an entry product which gives you money and entry into the whole thing. Now, I've seen a lot of people that you do not have anything which we call the customer lifetime value journey. Okay. Let me explain what I'm saying. So if you want to work with a company, and if you're in a B2B environment, generally, once you acquire a customer, you should retain that customer forever. Okay. Especially if you're a service oriented company. Now, How do you do that? You should be having an entry product or entry offer which solves a small part of their large problem, and you come in, you can give it free or you can charge a very small amount for it. But remember, it has to be aligned with where they are going in their life, what is their North Star is, and you come in and you say, hey, I'm going to be giving you this and I'm going to be charging you this. This is probably 20% or 10% contribution to their overall goal. You start doing that regularly, you retain the customer. You should be having something which can solve the other part of the problem. Okay, so that now you upgrade them to solve, let's say, 20 more percent or 30 more percent of their problem. It makes it more important or easier, and your solution can become then becomes more integrated into the long-term goal. That should be the strategy. Now, most of us I've seen, especially the service-driven B2B businesses, they have one product that they're selling. Let me take an example of a chartered accountancy firm. A lot of people say, "Oh, you know what? We either help you set up a company, and or we manage your accounts." Now, fine, managing accounts, statutory filing, GST, etc., etc. These are regulatory required stuff. Okay, I have to do that, but there is nothing more that you can do in it, is it? Right? You can't do more, right? These are legal mandatory stuff. My goal is to go for fundraising or go for an IPO or increase my productivity or profitability. Now, I want to ask you a question then, that if you are managing my accounts, you have all the numbers available with you, you know how much money is coming in, where the money is going, where we are leaking money, and what department is a cost center, what department is a profit center, and a lot of stuff. Why can't you take that all data, use a very basic analytics, maybe using ChatGPT, do a little bit of analytics over there, find out two or three things that this company owner, this business owner can do, right? And give them this proposition free of cost. Now, all of a sudden, when you do that, what you're doing, you are making their life easier by giving them some kind of analytics which helps them increase the profitability. Now, you did not sign up for this. This was not part of your service. You did not charge for this. But if you just start doing it based on what you already do with them, you all of a sudden has opened up the road towards their goal. And now you start becoming the important person for them. Now, how are you going to do that? Probably you hire a consultant or you outsource this entire thing to a consultant. But that opportunity of adding this extra service to your existing business can only open if you have a mindset wherein you see, okay, this CEO or the promoter of the company, the founder of the company is going in that direction. This is their goal, and how I can add value so that I help them move in that direction, right? Now, once you start receiving good feedback, you can talk to them and you can tell them, hey, I'm going to do this and this is going to be helpful and everything. And then people will say, ah, this is good. Then let's do more of it. Then you can start charging for it. And if they say, how can you execute it? Well, we're going to do that. If you can do it in-house, great. If you can't, find out a consultant who does the financial analytics over it, financial modeling over it, costing, whatever, whatever. There are hundreds of things. You can create dashboards for leaders. Okay, so this is one example. So I'm talking about understanding the North Star for your target customer, irrespective of the service that you're selling, and then aligning what you do with their North Star, their goal, in a way wherein you tell them, this is how what we do today is going to help you reach there. That's one. And then give them a product which solves 10, 20, 30% of that journey. You're never going to be doing that on a 100% scale, but that's small part. And once you start doing that, you keep on asking yourself and tell your team to do something that, okay, how can I add more value based on what I already have with me to my target audience, right? And then give them something, they like it, and then you start adding that as a service. So this is a really, really interesting thing. Let me give an example of how this service can be critical for you as chartered accountant or a wealth management advisor or a service provider or whatever. Now, you have 100 companies that you do accounting for them, right? You manage their accounts, you do their finances and everything, and filing and statutory filing and everything. You know how much money the company is making. You know how much money is going out of the company, right? And now you've also started giving a shit about the overall goal of the promoter of the company, the managing director of the company, and you talk to that person very often, very regularly. You know that their goals is either to go for an IPO or to raise funding, sell this company, get more money into it, maybe expand it globally, right? These are the two, three things that every business owner wants to do that, or maybe build a brand, but then brand also they are doing to reach somewhere. You can write down these three things in your mind and you can think, okay, this is what this guy wants, and I'm not doing that. What can I do to help this person reach in that direction? If you can find out a certain PE firms, private equity firms, or somebody who's a specialist in JV and mergers and acquisitions and uh, maybe IPO, right? Maybe branding, if you can find out some people and you talk to them that, look, hey, I have these 100 people and I think this is what they want in their life. I'm doing this small part with them, but I think they would want to go for brand building or creating automation or maybe using AI in their systems or maybe global expansion or IPO or something like that. I don't know about that. Can you tell me how does that thing happen? So they'll tell you exactly how branding happens and how private equity works and stuff like that. Okay, you can learn from them. And then you can ask their proposals and you can say, hey, if I give your service to my client, and if they want to talk, you come in picture, you explain, I explain, and if they do it, I'll take my service fee, right? That's a fantastic way of growing your business without actually building the in-house expertise of things that you're not good at or you don't want to do, right? Now, to understand that and to solve that, you got, how do I have these branding professionals in my network, and how do I have these IT professionals or AI professionals or private equity professionals or IPO professionals or global expansion professionals in my network? I do not have that. And that is where the biggest mistake that you as a small B2B business owner is making. I see you hang out with people in your community. If you're a CA, I see that you hang out only with CAs. If you're a wealth management advisor in the capital markets, you only hang out with capital market people. You do not hang out with anybody else. You do not have a community. You do not have a network. You do not have a partnership. Well, I've built something called Indo-Gulf Capital Alliance. And in IGCA, we are creating a bridge of trust and capital between India and Gulf. So whether the capital is to move from India to Gulf or from Gulf to India, we're bringing the people, we're giving them the intelligence, we're giving them the education and networking together. Every week, we do 2, 3 meetings online wherein all the advisors, all the stakeholders, investors, and the business owners come together and they tell what everybody is doing and what they can offer and what they want from the community. And you can form partnerships and you can have collaborations and you can exchange the deals and the opportunities between all of that. Joining this community is absolutely free of cost. We've already crossed 2,200 advisors from India. We are opening up the Gulf chapter now, wherein the advisors and CAs and real estate professionals from India will be exchanging and having partnerships with the Gulf people, and then we'll be adding Africa in a couple of months from now. So even if you are a chartered accountant and you don't have anything else, you still can talk to these people in the community, ask them, learn from them, have partnerships, sign documents, and start taking these services or these value add things to your existing customers. Now, I'm not asking you to sell them. I'm asking you to go to your customer and say, hey, what is your goal for next 12 months, 6 months, or 18 months? Do you want to raise funding? Do you want to build a brand? Do you want to go expansion? And do you want to implement AI in your operations or your systems? They will say, yeah, these are important stuff. We're going to do something about it. And then you ask them a question, where are they stuck? What are they looking for? And then you say, hey, I know a friend and they're really good at something. If you want, I can patch up a meeting and you can probably see if they are useful for you. You can set up those meetings and let these guys work together. You have to see yourself as a value provider. You have to see yourself that my job for the customer is not only to give them X service and charge them Y. My job for these customers is to help them achieve their goals. And whatever their goals are, my existing products can be 5% contribution or 10% contribution in helping them reach where they want to reach. No problems at all. I still have to connect with what I do and why they pay me money with how that is going to help them reach their goal. And the second thing that I got to do is have access of partners, of knowledge, of different things that are useful for this guy, right? And help these people. I make money out of it, great. If I don't make money out of it, still no problem, because at the end of the day, I ended up helping my customer. That person is going to be happy with me. They're going to retain me, and they're going to recommend me, right? Because I'm going beyond my job description. I'm going beyond what I was paid for. I'm investing into the future. And that's what I call investing into the future, right? There are multiple things that we can talk about, but these two fundamental things, if you can just take out from today's discussion, that will solve a large part of your problem, large part of your growth problem for 2026, right? So I'll be back with another session. We'll be talking about the nuances of it, like how exactly to frame those offers, right? What is the language that you should be doing using? How to use tools like Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, where you can find out right people, and how to build those connections and relationships with people, what to say, what not to say, all those things, and more about the IGCA Indo-Gulf Capital Alliance that we're building. In the meantime, you're very, very welcome to let us know in the comments, join us in the community, ask the questions, and I'll be happy to answer the questions for you. I hope that the discussion today was helpful and useful. And yeah, I wish you all the very best. Let us do more of this. I see you again. Bye bye.